I'm actually recording the session from now, so whatever you say, be careful.
Since you asked a question, Ian, Saurish, you speak.
No, I said now everybody will be on record, so you have to put in your best self forward.
Oh, yeah. Wow. This is a warning from Saurish. Be careful, you guys.
At Saurish, as Tiltians, I think that's what we do all the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Venkat, now you're talking.
It's here. It's here.
I'd like to say that Venkat's doing some amazing work in the space of
been on also. Tremendous. Sam, welcome. Sam is one of our tall leaders at Tilt. Venkat was our first leader for leaders. Sam is fourth leader for leaders, if I'm right. And my memory serves me well. Oh, we got some super guys on this program. Priya, welcome from Bhubaneswar, I think, right?
Jamshedpur.
Jamshedpur. See, I needed some correction.
Jamshedpur, yes.
Jamshedpur, yeah. Gaurav, welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, some of you I might not recognize today because a lot of new people. Any of the new joinees today, welcome to all of you. But if anyone wants to quickly introduce themselves, one sentence, I think it's a great idea. Jump in and do it. Tara, go ahead. Tara, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Sorry.
Tara, go ahead. You're muted again. You'll have to unmute. Yeah.
Tara Prasad from Chikmagalur.
Oh, Chikmagalur.
Yeah, I live in Chikmagalur, not Bangalore anymore. I used to live in Bangalore.
Tara, welcome from Chikmagalur. Yeah, it's one of the beautiful places in this country. And yeah, I'm so glad that you joined us.
By hills. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, yes. You're right.
Yeah. And how I wanted to know how long since this group started? Must be long back.
This group started somewhere in September, October last year.
Oh, last year only, is it? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It's a new group in that sense, but like somebody pretty like Chahat joins, a few more people join us also.
Anybody can join, is it?
Anybody can join. This is a feel-good group. We are calling it Positivity Rules on the group on WhatsApp.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to request Pragya if she can just put in a link here. Pragya, I think Kavitha has also joined us somewhere. So Kavitha, also welcome. Kavitha is one of my close, colleagues, and we do a lot of work together. She has her own channel now called Passion and Purpose.
Positivity.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ian. I'm sorry I'm not going to be on video today. It's been crazy days. So thank you so much. I'll put up the link here.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Okay. Venkat, you want to say something quickly to the group before you take off?
So it's just been a pleasure to be here back again. Ian, I don't know. I think there's something to do with my beard as well, because whenever I have a full beard is when you really invite me. I remember the Mind Talk. That's when I had a full beard. You called me for the Mind Talk, and now you called me for this. So I think there's some connection there.
So Venkat, what do the women do to be on Ian's talks?
It's already there, no? Beautiful women is already there.
Beard. No, you're talking about the beard.
No, that is for the men.
Okay.
Either beard or weird, you have a good chance of coming on.
Okay.
Good, I already call out beard.
You have to be weird, men have to have beard.
By the way, Chahat knows all of Ian's secrets. Please tell us.
Oh God, Chahat, please. This is not a time to reveal anything. Okay, guys, I'm going to start the session because it's 7 o'clock sharp and I like to start on time. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome. We have two fabulous participants today with us on the panel. The first, I'm going with the lady, is Chahat Paul, tremendous entrepreneur, has her own brand called Sculpt. She and her mom, Geeta, are really doing a fabulous job with that, helps so many people with their image. And so that's the reason why she's here. She knows about her own self-image, how she has changed it, and how she enhances other people's image now. So Chahat, would you like to say 1 or 2 lines about yourself?
Sure. So as Uncle Ian said, my name's Chahat Paul. Firstly, good evening, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks, Uncle Ian, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. I feel blessed to be here to share whatever I feel about, self-image with you guys. So like you said, I am an entrepreneur. My field is basically aesthetics. So it kind of does focus on self-image. People come in to lose weight. People come in to look beautiful. And I'm also a makeup artist. So, people come in to learn makeup and how to groom themselves. So, as my profession already allows me to, I do believe in self-image, and I help people to be more confident and to, help them in their self-images.
Tremendous, Chahat. Well spoken. Okay, Venkat, would you like to? Okay, let me introduce Venkat first because, he's a close friend of mine. I've had the privilege of doing some coaching for him. But today I'm so proud that he holds a very high place on NASSCOM, and he's heading future skills and also the B2B vertical at NASSCOM. Tremendous guy, spent 15, 16 years with IBM and then made a big leap into NASSCOM. But today, let me tell you, he meets the top leaders in the country and still keeps himself so humble and grounded. I work a lot with him because we have so much of common areas. For instance, at a leadership forum that we started together, he's been our first leader for leaders. So that means he was the ultimate leader. He's the first one to hold that position. So having said that, Venkat, would you like to say something about yourself in 1 or 2 sentences?
Sure. Thank you so much, Ian. And good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I think most of us are part of the big family called Tilt. So it's always good to be part of the family. And while Chahat introduced herself as an entrepreneur, I would like to introduce myself as an intrapreneur. And it's a good combination, you could say. You have an intrapreneur, you have an entrepreneur as well on the panel. And I'm absolutely passionate about transforming people, business, and mankind. And I'm fortunate to be part of the founding team of the Future Skills Prime, which is one of a kind initiative across the globe, which is a public-private partnership, which is intended to really make India as a global digital talent hub. So really privileged to be part of that. And a lot of credit goes to Ian and all the Tiltians here, because without them, I don't think I would have got the guts to really leave a job, which I was doing really well at IBM, and then take the plunge into it. And of course, I can't skip my wife as well, who was on the call. She's been a great support for me. Without her, I don't think I would have got here where I am today. And it's still a journey. It's a long way to go.
I love this, like the Academy Awards, I want to thank my mom and my dad and my brother and sister and wife, so. Vidya, I can see you blushing, man.
It's because of the walk, Ian. Kavitha told me to complete 10,000 steps today.
Tremendous.
When I walked, she gave her phone to me as well. So
no,
carry my phone.
It's not true.
Awesome. So, okay, now just to give all of you a run of how this program is going to go today, I'm going to have an interaction with the panelists. That's Venkat and Chahat. And I'm going to ask them questions, the same question to both of them. They can jump in anytime and, add some value also. We're going to keep the questions for the second half of this program. So that's the time when you can ask your questions. Please feel free to type it into the chat. If I miss something, somebody can always remind me. Those of you who are watching the streaming on Facebook, there are quite a few people who watch it on Facebook. You can put your questions there. Craig will translate that, transcribe that to Nicole, and Nicole will ask that question here. So Craig, either Nicole or Pragya, you can just send it to one of them and they'll ask the question. Or yeah, Kavitha is going to be off today because she's got so many things to look after. Okay, so that's the program and how it's going to run. To answer Saurish's question before we started formally, Saurish said, what's the genesis of this program? Now, for myself as a counselor, I see how important self-esteem is for everyone. And I know that in my coaching sessions, the first thing I do before we actually set standards is to build people's self-esteem. So that's how important it is. A classic example is Dr. Maxwell Maltz and how he started Psycho-Cybernetics, one of the most transformative programs on the planet. But he started because as a plastic surgeon, he realized even after changing people's looks, a lot of them felt, what have you done? You haven't done anything. Because their self-image hadn't changed. They couldn't see the image in the mirror being changed. And that's how powerful it is. The placebo effect is a phenomenon well known in the medical field. They can give you a chalk tablet and tell you it's going to cure your cancer, and it will if you believe in it. That's the power of self-belief. So self-image, self-belief, both these are connected or interconnected. So the self-image is the picture you have in your mind in the visual cortex. And the other part of it is in the kinesthetic part of the brain, which feels things and maps it from there. So if you know, you believe something is true, it happens, and the mind starts to produce the chemicals accordingly. So I thought it's good to talk about this today. One of the interesting things that I came across recently is this wonderful guy called Swapnil Shinde. He's now a wonderful gal called Saisha Shinde. Sex change operation, and he says, I was a woman, but I was living in a man's body. And why that self-image had to be played out? He said during the pandemic, he said, I just couldn't take this anymore. I couldn't be a woman inside and be a man outside. He's a man actually, Swapnil Shinde, but it becomes Saisha Shinde, did the operation and everything, and looks so gorgeous today. I wish people understood that part of it. That is self-image. That's how important it is. So does it matter? Of course it does. And today in the course of the discussion, I'm going to bring this out in my own way as a counselor, as a psychologist. And I'm going to ask this to Chahat Paul, because she's the self-image specialist here on the program. Chahat, would you like to answer this? How important is self-image?
So to me, obviously self-image is very, very important. I truly believe in mindset and your self-image. So if you have the mindset and how that reflects on your self-image, I mean, like a lot of people have ups and downs. I will just give you like an example. One of my staff, probably had a fight with her husband or family at home. And she comes to work looking, not her best self, not dressed well, not done her hair, not done her makeup, not groomed herself well. So that everyone watches that, and that mood kind of reflects on other people. I could have had a bad day and I could go to work and I could not be myself, but I know that at work I have to be the best version of myself. So I'm going to try and change my mindset to how much ever I can. And if I dress well, smile, greet my clients, greet my employees, my day is already 90% better. So I feel like it has a very strong connection. Your mindset is very important when it comes to self-image. It depends on how you look at yourself, what you believe in. So that's what I would say.
Tremendous, Chahat. Thank you very much. That was a very nice answer. And it really adds a lot of color to this session today. Venkat, would you like to add your view on this, on self-image, and how does it matter?
Absolutely, Yayan. I think self-image, as Chahat also mentioned, is absolutely critical. There's no second thought on that. But again, self-image is something which is transient in nature. It may not be the same as you move forward in life. Like if I have to take my example, it was quite different when I actually passed out of my 10th, when I got much lesser than what I anticipated. My self-image was actually very low, or you could call it self-esteem as well, right? Because self-image, I believe, is how we think others see us, whereas self-esteem is how we feel about ourselves. So I see that slightly different, right? So it's about, most often, self-image is about how we think others see us, and we sort of build a story around it. And over a period of time, as we keep repeating in our mind, it becomes a reality, right? And it could be nothing to do with the actual thing that you are, right? It could be something which was mentioned to you directly, or it could be indirectly as well. Now, one classic example that we go through in childhood, especially if you have a sibling or so, is somebody can just walk into the house and say, you know what, you could call out the sibling and say, she's very smart, right? There was nothing told about you, but at that moment, you could have created a story in your mind saying that I'm probably not good. And it sort of stays with you. And I think that's over a period of time, you realize it. And that's where I think a coach or a tribe like Tilt really helps. And I could take a very recent incident as well. While people might think, I always believe that people around me actually felt that I could do a lot better than what I thought about myself. People had a high view about me than what I had about myself. Until I met Ian a couple of weeks back, me and actually Vidya had a chance to meet Ian. And that's where the entire thing transformed. Right? So it's not about knowing. I think it's a knowing-doing gap. So Ian actually helped fill that. So it is possible to change. I think there was a question as well. But you need that sense of direction, as Ian also mentioned earlier. If you actually help somebody helps retune that or rewire it, I think it is absolutely possible to change it. And it's no doubt it's absolutely critical.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Venkat. And I'm so glad that we have this, the multiple dimensions that we are playing with here. One as a panelist, the other one as I'm the coach and you're the coachee. But in your own positioning now on NASCOM. You're one of the leaders who's been looked up at. A lot of people are role modeling you there. There's so much that is happening back end. But see, all this happens because we meet like-minded people, or we meet a coach or a mentor, and things change. So whoever you thought you were, if somebody else gives you another viewpoint and you believe that person, your self-belief starts to change and the brain starts to rewire itself. So you can be whoever you want to be, provided you believe that enough. That belief can come from within, it can come from outside. But if that belief system is not changed, you're not going to change. And psycho-cybernetics is about that. It's about changing the whole belief system. So I'm going to go into another area of it. Is it enough just to have the exterior? Like, for instance, some people say you dress well, you do your makeup well, you look good, grooming is excellent. It can change the inner self. So I wanted to know, Chahat, whether you align with that or you disagree with it.
Of course. I mean, if somebody gives me a compliment, that makes me want to come back to work the next day looking better. I don't think there's a day at work that I've ever gone shabbily, not dressed my best. Obviously, because we're in the industry, my work sort of demands it. But if somebody tells me, you're looking beautiful, your hair looks nice this way, I feel happy, and then I come back the next day and that sort of happens again.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Chad. That's a nice, short and sweet answer, but very, very in-depth, if I may call it that. Nice, deep answer. Venkat, you want to add something?
Sure, Ian. I think it does matter a lot in my view. And while one aspect is about how you feel about yourself, because when you get dressed well, you actually feel good. You might actually have the terminology of what chemicals get released, but it does really help. And one thing that I normally share in all my talks as well is usually you see people taking selfies only during weddings and all that when they're well dressed. They don't do it when they're shabbily dressed, right? So that sort of indicates that you feel good about yourself. That's what you want to take a picture of yourself. That's one. And of course, in the tribe again, if you have to really pick up some examples, we have Kavitha and Shruti who are really good at it. They always dress themselves really well, which also shows how they value themselves. There's something that's always to learn. I think I should thank Kavitha and Shruti for that from the Untitled Tribe.
Yeah, and from the men's side, Venkat, your name just popped out. I mean, somebody else was saying, if Venkat's busy, what do you do? And I said, somehow if I can get Venkat, because the guy always comes with his, his waistcoats, his bangalas, I don't know what all he uses. And I'm this guy who just wants to be as easily dressed as possible.
And so just one other point, if I can add, Ian, since you talked about this, right? I always believe that if you're invited to some of these sessions or so, it's not just about yourself. It's about, do I respect you as an individual and your show? If I'm not coming well dressed, I'm probably not respecting your show and the thing that you bring into the table. So I think it's both ways.
So are you saying if I respect my own show, I should dress better?
Absolutely.
You may not require it. It's better if, Ian, if you allow Kavitha to say, then all the hospital things might come out. So it's better to stop.
No. Whenever he's going on the Friday show or anything, I always ask him, are you going to change your shirt? And he'll say, is that an indication that, I need to change the shirt? I'll say, sometimes yes. If you're going to be on media, on social media, you should. So.
Oh my goodness. Now too many home truths are coming out. So Kavitha, please stay off the audio. Thank you so much. Nice
okay, I muted myself.
Thankfully, she's not on video today again.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the next question for you.
In the pink gown.
Yeah, Suresh, I'm coming to you later. We're going to ask the questions later. So I don't want to disrupt the flow at this stage.
Sure.
Venkat, if I'm going to ask you this question now. A lot of times you see people in the real world. Now you're meeting some of the top executives in the country, CXO level guys, people who own companies. I want to ask you this. When you look at them, how much of an image do they create in your mind, and does it really matter? So this is from a corporate standpoint. Yeah. Does their image matter to you and how you deal with them?
Yes. The short answer is it does. It does matter. And since we talked about the external thing as well, while that is important, because the first impression that you form about a person is based on the outlook, the way the individual carries themselves or so. But the most important thing is the inner self, right? How they come across, how is their attitude. That's really important. And if I have to just pick some examples, I know it's on social media, but I don't have a problem sharing it. I've met a lot of leaders, but one person that I really admire is Rishabh Premji. He's actually extremely grounded, very nice person, right? So that's what you retain in the longer term. And I generally look at, I share that with my friends and family members as well. If you look at any of these, say, TV serials or movies and all that, when you look at somebody who's playing a villain role, you tend not to like that person, right? But the same person, when he becomes good and comes as a good person, you tend to sort of like them. It's nothing to do with the looks. And that sort of indicates that the inner thing, which is there, is even more important than the external, while the first impression, as Chahat also mentioned, is important.
Excellent. Chahat, would you like to continue with that discussion?
Yes. So as superficial as it does sound, a lot of people say, why do you care about looks? Because everybody's talking about body positivity and all of that now. I'm all for it. Of course, I'm all for it. Nobody's perfect. But as superficial as it does sound, your appearance does really matter. It does play a huge role when it comes to your self-image as well. Like when you asked me to send you a picture of the creative that you're going to post, I had to sit and search for the best picture that I would like to share with everyone. So obviously I'm not going to send something that has nothing to do with today's conversation or where I'm looking ugly.
Yeah, no, in fact, I like the picture you sent. It's so beautiful, but it keeps you also in that corporate image look.
Yes,
You
that's
could
what I
have
wanted
sent one which was more like, party time.
No, exactly. I wanted to focus on what we're going to talk about today.
Yes, fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you for calling that out, Chahat. Okay, so there's an expression that goes like this, Venkat, and I'm going back to you first. You don't get a second chance to make a good first impression. Your views.
Absolutely, Ian. Especially in today's world, as you keep saying, it's a nanosecond world. It's very important. It's not just the outlook, it's about the way you come across, the choice of words that you make. And again, it goes on to your energy levels as well. If you stay positive, I think obviously you will talk about positive things. You'll come across as a positive person. And that's what will remain in people's mind.
Chahat, you believe in self-image?
Yes.
First impression?
Yes. So I would like to give you an example of the airline industry. You see all these pilots dressing well, looking sharp, done their hair. And then, automatically, okay, he's experienced, he looks good, and you're in safe hands. But if I see a pilot, not dressed well, not even put in the effort to, dress himself up, I would be scared for my life. I don't know. I just probably would link the two and just, yeah.
No, absolutely. And in fact, I think Vijay Mallya also spent a lot of time choosing the color of the outfit and the shortness of the dress and all that because he wanted an image to be maintained. And one of the things that Vijay Mallya said, and I'm not judging his business capability on this, but I'm just saying one of the nice things he did, and he picked this up from Richard Branson, when he gave his recorded message to everyone on the small screens that you find on the seats, he said, "Welcome to my home, and this is like my home, and the people who are serving you today are like my family. So welcome to Kingfisher." So that left a solid impression in my mind. I'm saying here are people who treat you like family, like they're inviting you into their home. You're entering an aircraft, come on. But it does stick in your mind, and you feel therefore that, you're at home. What's the problem? So there's a lot of psychology that goes into that. The colors that people choose, the ergonomics at the office. A lot of it is dependent on color scheme. What kind of colors? Do you want to show passion? Then put purple. Do you want to show coolness and all that? Then you use green. So colors have a effect on the mind as well. Chahat, would you like to say something about color? Does it make a difference?
Yes. Again, I will probably give you an example of my own company. So when we wanted to start, we didn't know what colors to really go for when it came to our uniforms and what colors we're supposed to be wearing. And everybody says, black is the most confident color somebody can wear, and it automatically makes you look slim. So we decided, why not have a confident color, bold color like black? That just lifts up the mood. It makes you look and feel better. It makes you feel confident. So that's how we chose our uniforms and for our company, our logos and everything else.
Fabulous. Venkat, your view?
Sure. I think while Chahat covered on the color from a dressing perspective, even if you look at a corporate communication, right? Talk about written communication, I think the colors matter a lot. When you write something in red, it's perceived in a different way. When you do it a different color, it's different. So I think it does matter a lot.
Super. I'm going to now get to a personal level. Yeah, pardon?
Can I add one other point?
Please.
You did mention about the Kingfisher thing as well. Just want to relate to that. Because I watched that serial as well, where there's a lot about this Kingfisher, how he went about choosing this color. And as you said, he personally invited everybody saying that you're my guest, right? But at the end of the day, if you look at it, everybody sort of really liked the Kingfisher brand as such. Everybody used to. In fact, at least I used to really look forward to travel in a Kingfisher aircraft. But today, if you look at it, if you reconnect the point that I mentioned earlier, it's about the integrity, right? So today, when you look the same person, you might look at from a different view. So I think that fundamentally is very important.
Yeah, no, and I'm so glad you covered that, Venkat. Really, I'm so glad you covered that. Because see, here's a brand that started off so beautifully and could have been one of the best airlines in the world. And they were heading that way.
Sure.
But, you know, when integrity is compromised, I think everything falls apart. And a lot of great companies, whether you call out the Enrons or the WorldComs, you know, they crashed because of integrity issues. So I think that is also an important part of self-image. How do you see yourself? I'll give you a shocking incident. I was talking to a group of college kids, about 300 of them. And I said, so how important is it for you to succeed? And they said, very important. So I just asked a tangential question. I said, will you succeed whatever comes your way? That means, will you do the shortcuts? Will you be playing with the law and all that? And they said, why not? Who cares about the law? Look at the politicians, they break the law all the time. But see where they are. They are governing us. They are making our rules. They are telling us what to do, what to eat. So, you know, this is the paradox. We come from a country which is well grounded, which is built on respect and peace and non-violence. And where are we heading? Why are we dividing everyone? So on that side, you know, can we make a self-image like we are all one country and we are all growing together, going together? I think that's important also. Do I feel comfortable in my country? Do I feel grounded here? It's all part of my self-image. You know, so I think this the bigger picture is a lot more wide than we can discuss on today's panel. But sometime we'll get to that. We'll get to that discussion on what are we doing as citizens of this country to make it a better country. That's for another discussion. So now I'm going to ask all of you to open up start to ask your questions, and I'm going to start to take questions. But Venki, you had your hand up, so I'm going
I just had one point. I saw some comment there from Lekha, which says, Vijay Mallya was not a king of good times, right? That's a Kingfisher thing. I wish he was a king of bad times as well, which he probably did not.
Okay, so Shalini's asked a question, says, doesn't confidence also play an important role in your self-image? You can wear the best clothes, yet not look great if you are not confident. I'm going to send that directly to Chahat.
So absolutely. Like I mentioned when I had just started, you know, your mindset and your self-image are kind of linked. If you're not feeling like it, it's not going to happen. If you feel like you're not looking nice or whatever, you know, it's not going to show on the outside. So your confidence plays it's an extremely, you know, important role when it comes to your self-image. If you don't have the confidence, then you're just going to look whatever way, you know, you're not going to look your best. So confidence is very important.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Thank you so much, Chahat. And I'm going to also give you an example from, you know, the Banged Up Abroad program. Do you know how to catch people who are carrying some contraband? Some of them use it in the alimentary canal and all sorts of things. I'm not going there. But they pick them out of a line sometimes because of their shiftiness, you know. They're looking this side, they're looking that side. And these guys are trained to pick up that shiftiness.
Right.
Because that self-image, they know that they're doing something illegal. They know. And those people can pick up the body language, which is giving that hesitation, that extra sweating. You got an air-conditioned hall and you're sweating? Something wrong. Hello, come this side. And they'll take you and scan you. And they'll catch you there. But on the flip side, you can be trained to beat things like your lie detector. You can be trained to beat it. So I'm just saying the mind is so powerful. So let's keep that in mind. Okay, I'm going to look for questions. Anybody wants to ask a question on the group? I'm going to go to gallery review and see Anybody wants to just put your hand up and I'll call you out. Yes, go ahead, Vaishali, you get the first question.
Yeah. So the question is, I look good, I feel good, but that does not happen every day. What to do on that one particular day, and how do I make up my mind again to look same my best?
Venkat, question to you.
Okay. Yeah, maybe one way to look at it is look at the previous day, what made you really feel good, and maybe try the same thing. That's the easiest thing to do.
Excellent. I'm going to give you another tip, Vaishali. Make a ritual. I call this the morning ritual or the hour of power. Start your day with saying, boss, thank you for another day. Thank the universe for one extra day on the planet. There was no guarantee you would get up today. And then start your morning routine, which says, boss, you know what? I'm the champion. And I'm going to make a super day.
Can I add something there? I think what's really important is don't worry so much about what's on the outside. You may not look your 100% every day, and that's okay. You're human. But what you said, I may look good and feel good. That's what's important every day. You have to be able to feel good, and then it'll happen again tomorrow.
Thank you. Fabulous. Thank you so much, guys.
Hey, brilliantly done. Asfiya, I'm coming to you. I'm just going to go to a question that's come in the chat box. Doesn't confidence also play a role? This is from Shalini. A role in your self-image. You can wear, okay, that's what was covered. Dr. Kavitha Puri. Sometimes the circumstances may change one's self-image and self-confidence. Actually, it could, but let me tell you, if your self-belief is so strong that you can get through anything, and this is where affirmations count. If you say, I'm the best, forget the rest, or this is only temporary, or this too shall pass, you know what? Then you start to reinforce the fact that this is only an incident and it will go, just like the bad clouds which are overhead, or the storm that has just hit you, or the tsunami that has passed. It has passed and everything changes. So if you understand that it's temporary, take a time out, go rest, take a break, get a massage, do something, but everything will pass. And so it should not affect your self-confidence. Asfiya, I'm going to give you a chance to ask your question.
Hi, so I actually wanted to ask both the panelists how they would maybe map out their self-image transformation journey, like starting from what triggers the thought for wanting to change and what challenges you're bound to face and how you should regard these challenges.
Okay, I'm going to just barge in here and say, can you tell me what is one trigger point for change? Because otherwise this will take up the time for 2.5 discussions.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Okay. Chahat first, you're ready.
Okay. So I already had this answer ready before we even started this. I mean, I don't know if everybody knows, but Uncle Ian is my uncle. We're related. And when I came down from Dubai, I was only 6. And, like every young kid, I didn't have the confidence because I was moving to a new place, no friends, didn't know where I was going. And I lacked confidence because I would be a very introverted kind of person. I wouldn't really talk to people. I would be reserved. So I did one of his sessions because he would conduct them when I was 6. That's like 20 years ago. And he trained me. He taught me how to speak in public. And I still have the certificate with me, by the way. So, I mean, that reminds me about, our times together when I was young. And I remember after I finished your session, I had gone for my grandmom's friend's daughter's wedding. And, they couldn't find me. They were like, where's Chahat? And finally, they saw me on the stage dancing in front of 200 people. And my grandmom couldn't believe her eyes. She was like, this really helped you. You're so confident. You're overconfident sometimes. So wow. I feel
guys, I do this in the family also. No, I just wanted all of you to know that. Thank you, Chahat. I owe you a treat on that one. Okay, there's a question from Facebook. Nicole, would you like to ask that?
Yes, there's a question from Michelle Franco. She wants to know how to make a good first impression.
Chahat, you're the expert. How do you make a good first impression?
So that depends. Like if you're going for an interview, I just probably give you that example. You dress well. You put a little bit of makeup on. You do your hair well. I mean, like I said, your appearance does matter. So you speak well. I mean, when someone's like nervous, the other person can sense it. Try your best not to be nervous. Try to be confident. and be yourself. I think that's the most important. Being yourself is the most important. So, I mean, that's probably some tips on how you can make a good first impression.
Yeah, and they say if you tell the truth, you don't have to worry about what you said, because it's the truth, it'll just come out naturally. But if you try to lie and bluff and you make up a CV, I think that's on the work or job front, side of things. Yeah, thanks. Venkat, you want to add something quickly?
Yeah, I just want to add one other point. While what Chahat mentioned is absolutely important and depends on the situation. For example, if it's an interview, how you come across yourself, how you dress yourself, how you greet that other person, how you talk, everything matters a lot. But it's also important to stay yourself, like your basic qualities. And I know Saikad is not on the call, but I just want to take one example that he had shared. When he went for the first interview, or probably the second one, I believe when he was passing through the parking lot, there were some two-wheelers that had fallen apart, right? So he actually made sure it is all put in place before he entered. And he didn't knew that the person was also there. The manager who was interviewing him is watching that. And when he went in there, the impression is already formed. Then it became just a formality, right? So there are a lot of things which are hidden. So if you're being yourself as a good individual, I think that matters a lot.
Fabulous. Oh, that's a great answer. That's a great answer. And that's a great question, Michelle. Thank you so much. Okay. I'm going to take some more. Prashant here. Prashant Sharma said something very, very interesting. He said, does it go beyond this first impression? What about things like integrity, character, or strengths and personality aside? But looking good alone, how far can it take you? Actually, it can't take you very far, but it does take you up to a point. And I'll give you this example from Nicole. When somebody asked her, when she won the crown, what's going to change from here? I think she said, this crown makes all the difference, because now I have a new identity and I can open doors with this. So I'm going to use this for the benefit of, humankind and the planet. And she was Miss Earth. So she said she can do a lot more opening of doors just because she has the crown. So your achievements, your accolades, everything help your self-image and the confidence that's built up over that. So I'm going to have a special session with Nicole sometime in this month, and we'll see how we can tap her intelligence of how she went that high. Ibadat, you have a question. You raised your hand, so go ahead, Ibadat. You're on.
Yes. I wanted to ask, since for me, I'm a 15-year-old and just in high school right now. And as a student, I get, and it's not just me, many students, they get bullied a lot upon their image and their bodies. So when you do get bullied, it affects your mind and it affects you a lot. So how do you, sort of get out of that? Because it's happened to me a lot and I have still not kind of recovered from it.
Ibadat, I think it's all about self-belief. So you have to use affirmations. I'm the best, forget the rest, or this too shall pass. And these bullies, why are they bullying you? Because they want to use their strength against you, or they want to use their group strength against you. Please understand one thing. An expression that we learned in school was this one: sticks and stones will break my bones, but may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. The problem is we take those words and we put them inside, and that becomes a kida, which becomes a big snake that eats you up finally. So please understand one thing. They are scared of you, therefore they want to bully you. They want to nullify you or your power, therefore they want to bully you. People who really have self-confidence, which is real, do not need to hurt or bully anyone. It's only the idiots with a low self-esteem that need to do that. So don't bother about them, Ibadat. Join our program more often and you'll get a lot more positivity here.
I will, surely. Thank you.
Yes, you should. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to add to that, if I can.
Please.
Ibadat, this is for you. Honestly, when people do, when bullies do tend to do what they do best, that's bullying other people, it's mainly because out of their own insecurities. So like Dad rightfully said, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. It's so apt. It's, out of their own insecurities that they're doing this and they're portraying it onto others. So don't let them bully you. It's just, it's them being, ridiculous.
So Nicole, I'm going to take this question back to you when you come on to the session and show how to become a winner. In this month, we're going to have now 2 weeks from now, Nicole will be live with us. So I'm going to invite all of you for that. You hear her story, it's very empowering. So she used to be a shy kid and she used to stutter when she called her name out. So from there, Ibadat, if that gives you any strength of, courage on the inside, take that forward. You can change anything that you want. In fact, Vidya has a question, says, how do we alter or transform our self-image? So Venkat, any tip for Vidya?
I would let Chahat do that.
Because Chahat is going to. Otherwise, you'll get a fair share at home and you might not get it.
So how do you alter your self-image? Is that correct?
Yes. Alter or transform.
Alter or transform.
So I think everything begins here. If you know what you want, it's going to happen. That's probably like if somebody says, if people bully you and say, you're fat and this and that, and you want to change, you have to want yourself, you want to change your self-image, it has to start from here. You have to have the desire to want to work out, to want to diet, to want to change yourself and feel. When you work out, it also releases dopamine. So am I right? Is that correct?
Yes. Absolutely correct. And the endorphins are actually giving you that feel-good factor and make you feel more powerful. Also increases your immune system, enhances your immune system. So yes, it all starts here, and I love the way Chahat said that. That's brilliant. Okay, any more questions that you have for us? Anyone? I'm going to ask one or two quick questions otherwise.
Ian, can I just add?
Please, Kavitha, go ahead.
I was just thinking, I love what Chahat and Venkat have said. I think in order for us to have a good self-image, for people to like us, to create the first impressions, to people have that recall value, a lot of the effort goes in from our side. Like Chahat says, you have to be willing to take the effort. You just don't look good just like that, or you just don't feel good just like that. You have to be a good person. You have to be kind. You want to look after yourself, you grooming, whatever. If you have to go to the parlor and get your nails done, you have to. It's some people think, oh my God, why do you go to the parlor? Why are you doing this? But it is required in today's world. That first impression is only 3 seconds. And if you want to make it good, if you want to be remembered, I think we have to put in the effort. And people like you who help people to feel good from the inside is also effort. It's not easy to get up every day with a smile on your face. But if you love yourself and you believe in yourself, you will do it. So it's all about putting in the work is what I want to say.
Brilliantly called out. Brilliantly called out. Thank you so much for that value add. And also remember this, all of you. You might not think much of your self-image and that you don't have to put effort into it. But people don't respond to you or what you are on the inside. They get an impression of you, and that impression is who they are responding to. Let me say this again slowly so all of you understand it. People don't know who you are. They don't know what your capabilities are. They don't know what you can do for them or their company. But they know you from the outside, and from that exterior, image of you, they put that in their head, and then they have a talk to that image on their inside. That's called positioning. So if people see you as being more powerful, they'll deal with you as being more powerful. If people see a lot of people coming up to you and shaking your hand, they'll think, oh, this guy must be a powerful guy. But he might be dressed very casually. It doesn't matter. Looking at other people's impression of you, they make their impression and they change that impression of you on their inside. And that's important. So how important is self-image? Self-image gives you the external image. And that external image is what people are responding to, because if they heard something negative about you, they are already put you in a bad bracket in their own mind. And they will respond to that, not how good you're looking. So this is a combination of things. Please look at it properly. The image that they're responding to is not the image of you have on the outside, but that does help. They are responding to the image that they have on the inside. And unless we understand this, we won't understand why people are treating us shabbily or people are not giving us respect. You need to find out why are they treating you a certain way? Their behavior tells you what they think of you. Their responses to you tell you how they think of you. So if you don't change that image on the inside of them, they will not respond to you properly. Okay, we've done a lot of good work on this session today. So yeah, I'm going to be closing this session in a few minutes. So last chance for any of you to ask any questions. Okay. Let me do one thing then. I'm going to do a closing,
So Ian, there is a good question.
Yes. Go ahead, Venkat.
On the chat window, there's a good question.
Okay.
I think it's very relevant for you.
So when you say it's all in the mind, okay, this is my sister-in-law talking. Some people have a problem getting their mind together or at peace. Is it okay to get external help? Yeah, like from a counselor. Oh, that is very important. Actually, it's like this. Some people don't get the help they require and they commit suicide. And I know a lot of people whose kids and all committed suicide. And, I'm thinking these guys know me. Why the hell didn't they get their kid to see me? It's really very sad to lose somebody because they didn't get the help that they required. Today, mental illness is not a problem. It's not a stigma. People like Deepika Padukone have talked about it. Yes. To get people to come out of their shell. The mind works in very curious ways and it plays games with us. And, my expertise is how to get into your mind and tweak it so that you are your best self. So as a coach, as a counselor, I do this. As a counselor, I take away your pain. As a coach, I make the better version of you happen. But I have to teach you how to rewire your own brain and how to keep that cadence up so that you actually succeed. So it's a process of rewiring your brain, and you need an expert to come in and do that for you, because a lot of times we don't know how to do that ourselves. Luckily, on the Positivity Rules group, people are rewiring themselves. I'm going to ask maybe Lekha to share her view. A lot of things have been discussed on the personal, how do I describe myself? Who am I? Lekha, would you like to share how people are changing their view of themselves?
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Lekha.
I came to know Ian only through my husband, who's here with me. A big fan of Ian's.
I'm a fan of Ian.
And I've also become a big fan of Ian. And I never sent in my opinion. What I thought of myself in the group is because, Ian, frankly speaking, I haven't yet realized who I am. So that's why I haven't given you my views yet.
Okay, super. So thanks, Lekha.
Conflicting things. So
I can take that one-on-one with you, and I can show you are bigger than you think you are. The first indication is if you haven't sent in your self-introduction, that itself is an indicator. So we'll take that offline. Pragya, you want to say something about self-image?
I completely agree with Chahat that it's all in the mind. It starts what we think of ourselves. But having said that, it's very difficult. I would also like to add that it's difficult to break patterns. Especially if we've been conditioned in a way growing up, maybe discipline and something, if we have faced something like that from the parents' side, then it's very difficult to break that pattern and to get out of that low self-esteem, vicious cycle. So I would really like, Ian, if you could give a few tips on that. Those of us who are dealing with something like that.
Yeah, so lots of it is in the mind and starts and ends there. I'm going to give all of you a very big tip. Take the risk of asking a question or doing something different. I heard this nice expression. It says better to ask a question and look like a fool for a minute than not ask the question and be a fool for a lifetime. I think we have to use the Aladdin factor. We have to ask. And I don't know why we are so shy of asking. Now, if anybody felt bad that they don't know who they are and what they are, they should have just pinged me and I said, I'm willing to help anyone. But we don't want to ask for help. Why is that? We'd rather be our old self than to ask a question and see how we can be our new self. So people like Venkat have made these quantum leaps because they got some help. Otherwise, on our own, we do not have the courage to do that. So we have some really good leaders here. John is here. Sam is there. Would you like to say something about how just asking for help can change things? John? I'm coming to Sam next.
Definitely, and yeah, definitely. And thank you so much for calling out my name. I think, as I also belong to one of the tribe known as the India Leadership Think Tank, and I'm a leader over there in the last almost 3.5 years. It all started with asking help. The first time I came to VN, he groomed me up. Of course, a lot of feedbacks and radical candors. You must be prepared to take it, put it up in the right way, in an optimistic way, and also learn to change. And one thing I would like to mention here, Ian, he also being in the Navy, I'm sure Navy and Army, they just not teach the soldiers to go and fight, but they always teach the soldiers to face the distractions, the impromptus, and all those kind of adversities. That is what makes them very strong. And I think our tribe is one of the best who have created leaders like us. Thank you, Ian. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Sam. John, I'm going to Sam. Sam, quickly, anything on this?
Yes, Ian, to your question on asking, I think that's what I learned from you and from Tilt, ask those questions and the universal answer, I think I have multiple instances where it has helped me in professional and in my personal life. So I don't want to get into that, but I think, it's definitely very, very important to ask that question to the universe, and the answer will come to you.
Yeah, superb, superb. So ask the question, even if you feel you need some help, you're not sure what to do, at least trust somebody else. So we have counselors, we have mentors. So I don't know what's the problem. Maximum you can take their advice and throw it out. But I believe when you ask somebody else, you always get an additional option. And more options in my brain is more power. So ask questions, ask for help, ask for opinions on you. You don't have to take everything so serious. They say that people ask for advice, but what they want is validation. I'm saying when you ask somebody for something, don't look for validation. Nobody is going to give you a stamp of approval. They'll give you their opinion. Take that graciously. It's an opinion. If people don't like how you dress, take that graciously. Think whether you want to change or you don't want to change. But don't look for validation. Look for opinions and take the opinions seriously. Try it out, see whether you look better. Yes, a lot of people.
Ian, just one point on this, since we're talking about seeking help, right?
Yes.
And the topic is about self-image. Is it also like, because if you have a really very strong self-image of yourself, which could also be termed as an ego, is that something which stops people from asking?
That for men, generally, that's the case. They say men will be lost for hours, but they won't ask directions. Of course, now they use Google Maps. But Google Maps is also wrong sometimes. And some people feel that Google Maps is also a male. But that's on a lighter note. Okay, don't take it so serious. Everything is not serious in life. But I feel...
Is it because the voiceover is usually a female one?
That's to make you more at ease, Venkat. They know how to use the algorithms well. So Lekha says, trust issues prevent people from asking questions. I feel really, Lekha, trust issues are all in the mind. If you feel you can trust someone, you can trust them. And look at the maximum, what can they do? You're not giving all your money to them, or you're not signing off your will to them. You're just asking a question, and so what if they don't like you, or so what if they tell somebody you ask them? It's okay, that's their problem. That's their small-mindedness. Leave them alone. But my suggestion is ask. Okay, I've got, interestingly, I've seen my brother here on this chat a little while ago. I don't know whether he's still here. David, if you're still here, you want to add something, say something? Dr. D, that's my brother. I don't know whether my mom is using his computer. My mom's on 2 computers, looks like. Sandhya Nair is a trainer and a coach. Sandhya, do you want to say something quickly?
Ian, I enjoyed the session. Venkat and Chahat, both of you spoke a lot of valid points close to my heart. Chahat, I totally agree with the fact that first impressions are the most important, because like Ian and everybody else has been saying, people actually judge you based on that first impression. And if you don't do it right the first time, you're going to have a whole lot of trouble and a whole lot of time invested to make that wrong right. So I totally agree with you on that, Chahat. Venkat, as always, brilliant, and loved what you spoke. Just one quick question to both of you, Ian, if I may.
Please.
Both of you, I would like to hear from you all. One tip that you would like to give the ladies and the gents respectively to create that first best impression for, as we move forward.
Charles, for the ladies, one good tip for them to make a good first impression.
One good tip for the ladies or the men?
You can give one to each.
Because both are different.
One good tip for each.
Okay, so one good tip for the ladies, look your best. Try and look your best. Be yourself, like I mentioned before. And for the men, I would be confident. When you shake somebody's hand and their shake is very lanky, you know what kind of a person you're meeting. Have a strong shake and you know you're meeting a confident person. So.
Yeah, but don't crush their hands either. Don't show that much of confidence.
That will be aggression.
Venkat,
yes, that will be aggression.
Thanks so much, Chahat. Venkat,
thanks,
one tip for ladies and men.
I think while you dress well, one of the important things is to always wear your smile as well. That makes a lot of difference.
This is for both?
Absolutely both.
Okay. If you have to give it to one of them, and you have to choose
universal.
Men. Do men or women smile more, Venkat?
Women.
It depends on who they're looking at.
Women.
All the women are jumping in. Women. So that's good. I think we've had a very nice, healthy discussion. I enjoyed this. And if there's anybody who wants to say something, one line, please. Anybody, some of our regulars are here. I'm sure they want to say something.
Shiv Shankar wants to say something.
Yes, please.
Biblically, ask and shall you receive.
Ask and you shall receive. Thanks, Shiv Shankar sir. Thank you so much. Nice to see you in the background for once and Lakers in the foreground. Dan-ta-dan. Things are changing at home, I see. Vidya, would you like to say how good the panelists were?
Oh, amazing. I love the beautiful discussion.
Okay.
And one of the best points, takeaway for me was what you mentioned about people don't know your self-image. So you have to put it across. Let them know what you are. Only then they will get it. Otherwise, they will not know what you carry. So that's an amazing point. And,
thank you so much, Vidya. Thank you so much for being here. Dr. D, are you there and you want to ask something or say something?
Yes, Ian, real quickly. First of all, Chahat, absolutely amazing. I saw you as a small girl and you have come across as being so professional today. So congratulations. Hats off to you.
Wow. Ibadat has her hand up. So Ibadat, you want to say something? Thanks, Dawat.
Yeah, just one quick question. Yeah, just a quick comment.
Okay.
That to increase your confidence in meetings, always be prepared. So if I'm going to meet a particular person, I do my homework on them, and it makes a big difference in boosting my confidence.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, David. Thank you.
And just one other point is also. Sorry.
I'm going to go to Savita Puri, but Venkat, you want to add something quickly?
Yeah, just wanted to add to what was mentioned about one is the preparation is important and knowing the audience is equally important.
Knowing the audience, who you're going to talk to.
Who you're going to
talk to. If you're talking to a CFO, he's going to look at financial details. If you're talking to a HR person, they're going to look at how it's going to help the company and its people. If you're looking, so you have to know who you're talking to and how to present your point.
Because if you're even meeting, say, a CXO of a startup, you may not want to get very professional wearing a suit and all that, because most of them are usually in casuals.
You're right. You're overdressed in that case.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much for that point, Venkat. That's really nicely thought through. Dr. Savita Puri, you want to say something?
Yeah, I felt that when you ask a question, it would benefit many, not just one person, but it would benefit many. So I think it's very important that, one asks questions.
Raju actually responded to one of my quotes, which was a little convoluted. And I gave an explanation. And then one or two other people said, thank you. Even I was thinking that, but we don't ask. You wait for somebody else to ask. And if that somebody doesn't ask, you don't get your answer. So please ask the question, take the risk. I think one thing we have to learn from this session is we have to take a risk.
Can I say something?
Yes, go ahead, Chahat. Please, closing comments from you.
So when it comes to, when you mentioned ask, somebody said, what if, you believe that you're doing your best, but, you don't believe that you're doing your best, but whatever. So I feel like you ask if you have an ailment or something to do with your body, you would ask a doctor. If you don't have that confidence, you should ask like a coach like you. So there's no shame in asking, a coach to help you to be more confident and yeah, to be your best, to be the best version of yourself.
One of the things that shocked me, Chahat, is somebody told me, I wanted to reach a certain level before I came to you because I thought then others will think I'm a total idiot. I'm thinking, if you don't go to your doctor with your problems, then what happens? I'm the mind doctor. Do you mind? I can see right through you anyway. Wow. So you might as well approach me if you need quick help. And I believe time is the biggest resource that we have, not money. So better to spend some money and gain a lot on the time instead of doing trial and error. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much. Closing comments from Venkat. Tara, you want to ask a question?
I just wanted to know, it's a different question, not connected to the topic we all just went through. Realize most of them are professionals here, aren't they?
Most of them, yes. But there are some.
I feel like a misfit, if I can say. I'm just a homemaker.
Oh, the homemaker is the most important person, because where do we get the people in the corporate world? It's because the homemakers are doing all the work.
Are there many such ladies who are homemakers here?
Yes, there are quite a few. There are quite
working women.
So Vidya is here.
I think both.
If I would just add one point,
it doesn't matter. Actually, a homemaker is work. I don't know why you're calling it homemaker.
Yeah.
A homemaker, where management was thought through by looking at a woman managing the finances and the resources at home. So homemakers are the most powerful. The hand that rocks the cradle.
Yeah, yes, I know that. Thank you.
Sometimes women are much more powerful than men. Ask Lekha, she'll tell you how she can just shake Shiv Shankar like that.
I believe that.
Ian, may I say something on this point?
I'm coming to you because Shiv Shankar has a hand up for 1 hour.
Okay.
And after all, these days we work from home, so everybody's a homemaker.
Work from home. Yeah, sorry, Tara. Everybody is working from home.
Wonderful
the homemaker
point.
is the queen. What's the problem? Achi, go ahead.
Yeah, I teach logistics. Tara, this is addressed to you. I teach logistics and supply chain management.
Okay.
And I start my example with the kitchen.
Good.
Yeah, just-in-time management is also what the Japanese tell us, but you have to have that just-in-time arrival of the resources also. Okay, I think it's been fabulous with all of you. Venkat, closing comments from your side, and then I will wind up.
Here's just one point. This is something which is very close to my heart. I had written it earlier as well, which I call as the MRP concept, right? I think it very well relates to the self-image. When you look at any product, there is an MRP. Nobody actually pays more than that. And I think it's up to us to define our own MRP.
Wow. What is your MRP? Oh, I think that's such a beautiful concept. Thank you so much, Venkat. That's a nice way to close this session. Each of us has to determine what's your MRP. Your price and what the market is going to pay you is determined by you. And very often in my coaching, I'm asking people, what is the value that you bring to the table and how do you enhance that? So in the next session, we'll be talking about value and value enhancement. And this month we will close with what is your living legacy? So all these sessions are interconnected. For the month of April, we're talking about what to discover about yourself and how to bring out your best value and leave your best legacy. So I am grateful to the panelists today. Chahat, you've been awesome. One of the best I've heard you speak or interact anywhere, just totally professional. I'm so impressed. Thank you very much, Chahat. And Venkat, of course, you're the master of the game, and talking to all these CXOs is showing up. And I'm so happy to have you on this panel. I couldn't have thought of a better gentleman to come in on this image part of it. You've changed your image so much in the last 1 or 2 years.
Oh, a lot to you, Ian.
Oh, well.
And Tilt, of course.
Unless you do it, there's no point. I mean, you can get the best directions, but if you don't start the car, you're not going anywhere. So on that nice note, thank you, everyone. And some of you might want to join us on the Positivity Rules group. It's a group for interaction, for sharing, and we have a lot of trustworthy people there. And we make sure that the group is positive all the time. So join us there and we can continue the discussion. But next week,
thanks, Ian. Thank you so much. Yeah.
2 weeks from now, we can expect Nicole to come on board and tell us her story and how she reached the heights by using her passion and how she discovered her purpose. On that nice note, thank you all for being here, and I shall be seeing you next.
Have a lovely weekend, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Venkat and Chahat. It was a wonderful session. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Chahat.
Thanks a lot, Chahat, and thanks a lot,
everyone.
Venkat,
Thank
for
you.
such a beautiful session. Thank you.
Thanks for being there.
Panelists were fabulous. Okay, see you next Friday.
Good evening.